Why is becoming a good entrepreneur so hard? Becoming a good entrepreneur can be so hard because many new entrepreneurs are overwhelmed with new things they have to handle. They tend to find themselves lost in the new world they find themselves in. Let me start with a few hard truths of being an entrepreneur. 1. It's stressful. If you think meeting a boss's deadlines or demands is tough, try meeting your own, especially when your personal savings are on the line. Maybe you've already taken out a second mortgage and your credit cards are maxed out. Or maybe you've borrowed money from family and friends and you're on the hook to pay them back, ASAP. This type of pressure lights a fire under even the most laid-back personalities. Not only will you feel the pressure to get your business off the ground, but you'll also feel the added pressure to do so quickly to regain some semblance of financial security. 2. It's never ending. Yes, it can be thankless to work for someone else, knowing your skills and talents are ultimately making someone else a bundle. But in most jobs, you can leave the work behind when you go home to enjoy your family, friends or hobbies. As an entrepreneur, the workload can be intense, especially during the early stages when you are the CEO, CFO, HR person, sales staff, marketing guru, tech guy, office manager, and janitor. With all these roles, there's rarely a moment that you feel your work is done for the day. There's always something more you could be doing, like researching new markets, writing press releases, contacting new media, cold calling new sales outlets, developing new products, and the list goes on. And that can eat away at time formerly devoted to family, leisure activities, workouts, or relaxation. It's a difficult balance to strike. 3. It's frustrating. Maybe you've partnered with someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. Or you've received a shipment of damaged products that you need for a trade show the next day. Or the media appearance you spent days preparing for is suddenly cancelled due to a natural disaster. As an entrepreneur, these types of situations happen on a regular basis. I speak from experience, all of the above happened to me. The truth is that you never know what's around the corner, and it can be extremely frustrating when you've planned to spend a day on product development, only to find out that you have to repair the cases of product packaging that came apart during shipping. So with this kind of stress, pressure and workload, why, then, would anyone subject themselves to being an entrepreneur? The answer is simple: the positives outweigh the negatives. 1. It's rewarding. When you're successful, you reap both financial and emotional rewards. There's no better feeling than seeing a product you've worked hard to develop on store shelves, or when you've provided successful service for a grateful client. It's exciting to make a sale or win a new client when you know it's from your own hard work. It's gratifying when customers tell you that your product, service, or example has made a difference in their lives. And of course, turning a profit and knowing your business is financially stable are extremely rewarding as well. 2. It's flexible. Once you work for yourself, it's common to feel you could never work in a conventional 9-to-5 environment again. I believe it's mostly due to the flexibility. Yes, you may work more hours, but you can do so on your own terms. You can stop work at 3 to pick up the kids from school without asking your boss for permission. You can work from midnight to 4 a.m. if you're a night owl. You can work from home or your own office with daycare on site. When you're the boss, you call the shots, and the new freedom can be exhilarating. 3. It's the chance to create. Many entrepreneurs are driven by the need to build something great, help other people, or leave something behind. Perhaps it's a business that your children can join and grow. Maybe it's the legacy of creating something that will be around long after you're gone. No matter what the motivation, creating something from nothing that grows and develops through the years can be almost like raising a child. It's your baby, and you've nurtured it to its current level of success. That type of fulfillment is difficult to duplicate in most other career paths. Find more about advantages and disadvantages. Hear the realities of being an entrepreneur. If an entrepreneur wants to make a success of his/her business, it is important to define business goals. Goals should be evaluated every so often as the business grows. This post will show some examples of goals that entrepreneurs have set for themselves. Check more 5 entrepreneurship goals examples. Actively seek out like-minded individuals. Being an entrepreneur has many benefits, but feeling connected with others isn't usually one of them. An entrepreneur works in hours alone and has his/her idea that others might think is unachievable. There are many haters out in the world who would want to make an entrepreneur feel bad about his/her work out of envy. This feeling of isolation can severely impact productivity and personal health. Make sure to make a point to connect with like-minded individuals actively. At Treehouse Society, there are many dreamers and doers. This is a supportive environment for entrepreneurs, freelancers, and dreamers alike. Launch the first product. Make sure to launch a minimal viable product (MVP) first to get customers' feedbacks as soon as possible. There is always time to go back and change the MVP after customers' feedbacks. Increase sales. Of course, any entrepreneur wants to grow the sales and revenue for his/her business, but what is a reasonable growth rate? Some say that a meager 15% increase per year is worth celebrating. In fact, in 5 years, that annual 15% growth rate would mean that the business has doubled. Rather than shooting for rapid growth rates, work towards slow and steady increases in sales that allow the company to grow safely. Growing too quickly can be a dangerous game, but if done correctly, it could be very rewarding. Cut problem clients loose. Not all money is good money. Don't waste previous time and resources on managing and catering to demanding customers and clients. An entrepreneur should always look at the big picture during customer acquisition. Sure, a customer who is willing to pay top dollar for your services is great, but if they are going to be high maintenance, that extra money may not be worth it. Firing problem clients will free up more time to focus on other customers, the ones who respect your time and boundaries. Make time for personal growth and learning. Continuous learning is the minimum requirement for success in any field. There will never come the point, no matter how successful one is, when learning and growing won't be beneficial. This doesn't mean that everyone should be in school at all times, but one should attend conferences and workshops, read books, insightful blogs, and industry publications as regularly as possible. While it is certainly important to stay on top of industry knowledge and news, make sure personal growth isn't neglected. It is never too late to learn a new hobby or develop a new interest, both of which can contribute to a healthy, well-balanced lifestyle. Setting goals is an integral part of choosing the business that is right for you. After all, if your business doesn't meet your personal goals, you probably won't be happy waking up each morning to try to make the business successful. No matter if your personal goal is the freedom to do what you want, or financial security, setting a business goal for it will be helpful to attain those goals. Being an entrepreneur is hard because you are doing something you haven't done before. That means your brain has to do a lot of learning from mistakes. Learning to walk was hard. You had to learn which muscles did what, and how to coordinate them. Learning to ride a bicycle was hard because you had to learn to use your muscles in different ways to maintain balance, and because you had to train your eyes to not feel off balance when turning. Learning to drive a car was hard because the car does not operate the same way your body does. You need coordinate many actions e.g. in a manual shift car, steering, shifting and clutching, plus either braking or accelerating, all at the same time. Also because you now need to deal with threats you haven't dealt with before, other driver and pedestrians' decisions. Starting and running a business is also all about coordinating a bunch of things you have never coordinated before. Success is going from failure to failure and learning without giving up. There is no doubt that starting, running and growing a business is tough, really freaking tough. Since others have already touched on this in great detail, I will provide another perspective on what makes becoming a good entrepreneur so difficult. I have found that when most young entrepreneurs set out trying to start a business as the primary goal, you often struggle a lot more compared to someone who builds something of value and later finds an organic way to monetize it. So if you find you are struggling to start a business, take a step back. Instead of focusing on building a business from the get-go, try to first create something of value you can share with others. Some entrepreneurs are great at building a business day one and others are better at first creating value and monetizing it later. There is nothing wrong with either approach. But one can feel more like pushing a boulder up a mountain compared to the other depending on the particular individual.